Let's multiply 496 22 times. So we can write that as 496 times 22. If we write that in column, that's 496 times 22. If we write this in expanded form, we can write these numbers as 400 plus 90 plus 6, and then 22 we can write as 20 plus 2. And then let's put a line here to separate our numbers that we're multiplying from the answers. Remember from our past discussions that multiplying multi-digit numbers are actually just multiplying each place by the other number's place and then adding all the result. That's exactly what we do in the standard algorithm. So let's write the two numbers in a column or one on top of another. Next, we multiply each place of the first number to that of the second number. So let's multiply each place of the first number to the places of the second number. Let's do the ones place first of the second number. So for the ones place, 6 times 2 is 12, 90 times 2 is 180, and 400 times 2 is 800. Now we're done with the ones place. Let's do the tens place. So let's have 6 times 20, which is 120, and then we do 90 times 20, which is 1800, and then we do 400 times 20, which is 8000. So adding all of these numbers together, let's use the standard algorithm to get the answer. So we have 800 plus 180 plus 12 plus 8,000 plus 1,800 plus 120. So for the one space, we have 2. For the 10 space, we have 8 plus 1 plus 2. That's 11. For the hundreds place, we have 8 plus 1 plus 8 plus 1 plus another 1. That's 19. And then for the thousand space, we have 8, 9, and plus 1. It's 10,912. So the answer to 496 times 22 is 10,912. But this method that we use to multiply the two numbers is still not the standard algorithm. It's just the explanation of what is happening whenever we use the standard algorithm to multiply numbers. Let me show you a little bit more about what happens when we use the standard algorithm. Try to compare it with the computations on this side. So now we are going to use the standard algorithm. So what we do is we still write the numbers in a column like the one we did over here. And then, same as before, we multiply each place of the first number to the first place of the second number. So first we start off with 6 times 2, which is 12. But instead of writing 12 here, we're going to carry over the second digit on top of the digit where it was supposed to be in. And this 6 times 2 that we did is actually the 6 times 2 over here, which gave us an answer of 12. Next, we move on to 9 times 2. So 9 times 2 that we're doing here in the standard algorithm is actually this one, 90 times 2. So 9 times 2 is 18. What we did here was 90 times 2 was 180. So instead of writing 180 over here, we carry over this 1 because we can only just write one digit, because in the standard algorithm we just leave the first digit and then the next digit we carry over on top of the digit where we're supposed to apply the answer. Let's erase 1 over here. And by the way, all the carryovers over here are the carryovers for our multiplication of the ones place. Now, since we have a carryover from our multiplication of 6 times 2, we are going to add that 1 to 8, which makes this 9. Next, let's have 4 times 2. And 4 times 2 is actually this one. It's 400 times 2, which gave us 800. So instead of writing 800, we're just going to deal with the digits. That's 4 times 2. That's an 8. But remember, we have a carry of 1, which we are going to add to this answer. So 8 plus 1 becomes 9. Next, let's move on to multiplication of each of these places of our first number to the tens place of the second number. And by the way, the answers here are the answers to the multiplication of each of these places to the ones place of the second number. Now, in the second line, we're going to write the answers for the multiplication of each of these places to the tens place of the second number. So let's do 6 times 2, which is actually this one, 6 times 20. And we know that 6 times 20 was 120. So in our case, 6 times 2 is 120. But instead of writing it this way, again, we retain the last digit, which is 2. We carry over this digit over here to remember that we have to add it later on. And then you can choose to retain the 0 over here. Or in many cases, we just erase that 0 and leave this portion blank. But that's actually a 0 that's supposed to be there. Okay, so we're done with 6 times 2 or 6 times 20. Now let's do 9 times 2. Now 9 times 2 is 18. Now 9 times 2 is actually 90 times 20, which is supposed to be 1,800. So instead of writing 1,800 over here, we just disregard the 2 zeros, leave 8, which is the first digit of the result of 9 times 2, and then we carry over the digit to its left on top of the space where it's supposed to be so that we can remember that there's a carryover of 1. And by the way, these are the carryovers for the multiplication in the tens place. Now, since we have a carryover from what we did from 6 times 2, we're going to add that carryover to the 8, where, of course, 8 plus 1 becomes 9. And then last is 4 times 2, which is actually 400 times 20. So 4 times 2 is 8. But for what we did here in the left, actually what we are doing is 400 times 20, which is 8,000. So instead of writing 8,000 over here, we just disregard all the other zeros and then just write the results of the multiplication of the digits, which gives us 8. But remember, there's a carryover on top of this 8, which is a 1. So we go ahead and add that 1 to our answer, which gives us 9. So now we have the result of 496 times 2 and 496 times 20, which is this one. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to add both of these answers. Let's just put a line to separate our answer from these numbers. Let's put a plus sign here. So remember, this was supposed to be a 0, right? But we just disregard it. So when we add, it's actually 2 plus 0, but we disregard 0, so we're just dropping the number 2 over here. Next is 9 plus 2, which is 11, and we carry over the 1. Next is 9 plus 9, which is 18, plus the carryover 1, which gives us 19. And then finally, we have 9 plus the carryover 1, which gives us 10. And there we have it. Using the standard algorithm, we have the answer 10,912 for the question 492 times 22. So this is now the standard algorithm. If you find it quite long, don't worry, because the actual process is a lot easier than this. It just became longer because I was explaining what happens in the background, so you understand that the standard algorithm is just a technique that simplifies the grid method. Now let me show you the true form or the real power of the standard algorithm. If you found this video helpful, give us a like or a thumbs up. We will really appreciate it. Also, watch our other math help videos and playlists that we made for you. Keep on learning!